So I joined up in the Army National Guard in 2001 as an infantryman. My experience was pretty small until December of 2002. And I got a call that we were actually getting deployed to Iraq. It was at the beginning of the war. You know, being 17 years old, not really knowing much about war. I mean, I grew up playing Army and stuff like that, but didn't know what war was. All I knew is that, you know, when you first get in, you're trained to do one thing and one thing only in the infantry, and that's take care of the bad guys. I got blown up a few times. The last thing I can remember when I got blown up from the one that kind of took me out was we were driving from our drop-off point with our personnel that we were guarding and stuff, and boom! I remember my feet shooting out from under me and bits and pieces of that explosion. Like, I don't know what was happening. Next thing I know, my lieutenant's like trying to pull me out of the turret because he thought I'd gotten hit. When I got back to the compound, I remember, you know, kind of collapsing, and they took me over to the TMC. And I had gotten a sonic concussion. You know, they were like, oh yeah, your bell had been rung, you know, here take some Motrin and have a couple days off. Well, back then they didn't know the effects of what IEDs were doing to people. I don't think I really understood what was changing in me during all this. I actually tried to complete suicide overseas. I was sitting in my bunk and I had my M4 up under me. But I just remember feeling so alone and so hopeless because I didn't, to be honest, I didn't want to go back home. My buddy actually knocked on the door and stopped me from doing it. He saved my life that night. When you experience war and you experience combat and the things you have to do in combat, you see the worst of humanity. And trying to process that as such a young kid, I didn't know what to do other than drink. I started having speech problems and speech difficulties. I could barely get any words out. I started stuttering and stammering and trying to put words together, and I could barely talk. I was officially diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder in 2004. When the gym opened, it was perfect, you know, because I was working literally right next door, right beyond these walls here. I noticed this guy that I saw helping, you know, Chris set up the gym and stuff. That's when I first kind of met JC. And he had like a little crew, you know, there's a couple guys he was working out with. One of my coworkers were working out with him at the time. Came up to me one time and he was like, why don't you come work out with us? So started working out as a team and motivating each other. And I noticed physically, as my body changed and morphed, I felt better mentally, emotionally, spiritually. I felt a better connection to myself. And so started losing weight. He was putting me on all these different programs and everything else, and he had just gotten his weight belt made that said wrong to strong on it, you know, and I was like, you know, what's this wrong to strong thing you're wearing, dude? And he's like, well, it's what we do. You know, we're wrong when we first start out, and through this camaraderie and through training and through breaking these mental boundaries that you have, you become strong, you know. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to help people unless I looked the part. I went from 265 when I started with him down to 225, in between 220 right now, and a lot stronger. I started noticing that even though my injuries still affect me here, I'm able to kind of work through them and push past them. We're all helping each other through mental issues, through addiction issues, through physical issues. Hell, I've even seen JC sit down with somebody and try to help them with their court stuff, you know? So it's like all of us are connected through one thing, and that's physical fitness. Like, I did that for freaking years in the military until I felt like I couldn't anymore. I got stuck with that disabled vet card. I can never run again. I can never do that, never do this again. I started figuring out that I could, and that was a cool feeling. And here I am, stronger than I ever was in the military, with a mission. And the mission's simple: helping those around us and helping the community out through physical fitness. It's a great thing when you can show other people to leave those mindsets and everything behind and live a healthy lifestyle.